Welcome back. You're watching Startup Central with me, Nantara Rai, working from home. My next guest, again from the fintech space, it is MobiKwik, which has raised 52 crore rupees from a clutch of investors. And joining us now is the co-founder, Upasana Taku. Upasana, congratulations on the fundraise. You're back after a 67 long day working from the mountains. Stunning pictures of yours I saw on Twitter. Did you do this fundraise while you were working from the mountains?
Absolutely. I did this fundraise while we were in the mountains. I'm very happy to announce that we completed the process just in the nick of time, just one day before Diwali, from the beautiful mountains of Tirthan Valley in Himachal.
Wow, it really does show, right, that the digital world is not going anywhere. This is the way forward. You don't even need to be in a city anymore to raise money. But Upasana, on a serious note now, what do you plan to do with the 52 crore rupees? Obviously, it's for expansion. You also had IPO plans. Where is all of that at?
Yeah, right. So, see, firstly, I'm very excited from this fundraise for two reasons. One is that I don't know if you noticed, but among the investor group, we also got Kris Gopalkrishnan to invest in this round, and he being the co-founder and chairman, co-chairman of Infosys is a big deal for us. One of the first large tech public brands to come out of India. And it's a huge endorsement in our business model of bringing a digital credit card to 100 million Indians. As you mentioned, we are very excitedly working towards building a strong, long-lasting, profitable company while creating financial inclusion impact in India. And we are also on the road to IPO. So yeah, looking at the working keenly towards getting listed in the next 12 to 14 months. So this fresh capital that we have raised will be used in all key segments of our business, which is the digital credit business, the cards business, consumer payments, and payment gateway. And of course, the key focus for the last 2-3 years for us has been the digital credit card business, where we have now, of our 100 million plus user base, 15 million MobiKwik users are pre-approved for a credit product, which they can use whenever they are paying with the MobiKwik wallet and with the MobiKwik Blue Amex card.
So, because you're also talking about credit cards and you've done this fundraise announcement in the same week where, if I could say that the digital payments ecosystem's taken a knock of sorts, right? With the Reserve Bank of India taking objection to the bank's preparedness, the IT infrastructure, the digital, their tech not being able to handle the surge, the exponential volume surge that we've seen for digital payments. Where is that going to leave MobiKwik and other fintech players? Because at the end of the day, you do need the banks, you do need to upgrade their IT services, their infrastructure, etc.
Yeah, you addressed the elephant in the room. This is a huge issue, and I'm actually glad that it has now come in the limelight because, as a fintech company, we like to collaborate and partner with all the major banks in the country on one product or the other, whether it is UPI, whether it is, money transfer pipes, whether it is card processing pipes. And I can't tell you, this entire year, I have not seen as much downtime happen in the last 4 or 5 years as I have seen in this single year happening. Every large bank that you can think of has been down. And it has created a very bad user experience. I can't tell you that 2-3 days ago when this huge downtime happened for one of the large major banks, we had 50,000 customer support tickets created. And, on the front face of it, people who are not aware of what's happening, they're going to blame brands like ourselves and our peers in the fintech sector for, my transaction is not going through. I mean, I can't really tell them that in the back end, it's the bank partner that I'm working with, whose systems are down or whose pipes are down. But that's the absolute truth. And it's not just customer inconvenience. I mean, I believe that as a consumer, I should have access to my money sitting in my bank account, 24/7, 365 days. And whether I want to withdraw from ATM, whether I want to swipe my card or I want to pay on a smartphone, I should be able to move my money. And I was going to say, from a fintech perspective, I can tell you it's not just customer dissatisfaction and loss of face, but also significant revenue loss. Like, I can tell you, just from one single bank, would have costed us millions of dollars of revenue loss in the last 6 months. And if I look at each one of them put together, probably we've lost $4-5 million of revenue just because of out of these outages happening. And so, I mean, I for one think that action from RBI is quite appropriate. And, I also think that, we also have 2 licenses from the Reserve Bank of India, one to run a prepaid wallet and one for the Bharat Bill Payment Switch. And, there's a fairly complex compliance process. There are annual audits that happen to renew that license. So why can't licenses of this nature or banking licenses have a entire section on technology, on uptime, on scalability? I mean, this kind of this is not expected. These are banks which are worth upwards of 30-40 billions of dollars, and they should be able to make the right investments in technology and satisfy the very basic need of millions of their customers, which is the ability to move their money.
Just that one outage on 21st of November has of course caused a lot of damage, but the fact is that during the lockdown, at least on social media, you kept hearing of outages from several banks. They weren't for long periods. There might have been small blips and all of that, but clearly the Reserve Bank has taken cognizance of that, whether it's HDFC or more recently even SBI YONO. As we all know, in fact, the Governor Shaktikanta Das spoke about it in his press conference today.
Yeah, but it's not just...
Like I said, it's other banks as well, which we've heard about for short blips.
These are not just small blips. I can tell you that outside of HDFC and SBI, almost every other bank, whether you think about ICICI or Kotak, or almost every bank that we partner with has had outages. And in fact, we've seen outages where the core banking system is down for the entire day or 7 hours in a day, which is... I mean, if they are my key corporate banker, I mean, all my money is stuck. My working capital, my cash flow gets stuck. I can't process my, I can't run a large business where my money is blocked because their core banking is down. I'm saying that this is not just a blip for 30 minutes or 1 hour. This is getting reported extensively because, of course, HDFC and SBI are sort of the largest private and largest PSU bank in India. But, the story is same across all of them. And that is precisely because, prior to COVID, the last watershed movement towards digital was demonetization. And of course, a lot of transactions are happening on UPI with no revenue to be made. And banks are just not investing enough in the infrastructure that is required to provide a 99.9999% uptime, which is, I think, the basic minimum, requirement in order to have up and running bank where you can move your money. Like, I should be able to move money to you at 3 a.m. in the night. That's why I have a bank account. That's why they charge me fees, right? And they earn money on my float sitting.
Right. But Upasana, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Like, I don't think because COVID happened, everybody had no choice, who maybe were not even comfortable with digital payments to go in for that route. It's something that all of you have also spoken about, right? How everything has been accelerated. So during COVID, we also expected the banks to accelerate their IT upgradation. Obviously, that did not happen. But if I can play devil's advocate here, and I'll be honest enough to say this. I was interviewing the PhonePe founders yesterday, and both Rahul Chari and Sameer Nigam actually drew a parallel with the telecom industry, saying it seems very similar to that. The telcos had very little reason at one point to upgrade their infrastructure. Is that the case for the banks as well? On one hand, obviously the valuations are going up, but on the other hand, and let's be a little honest here, the zero MDR, what do banks get? They're also not allowed to charge for any UPI transaction. Then they have to also pay an interchange fee to the NPCI for being a service provider. They never thought that a few months ago that in November there'll be 2 billion UPI transactions.
Yeah, that is true. But at the same time, these are large, powerful institutions. Consumers have higher demands from loss-making private companies like ours. So I'm sure their demands from a bank are not going to be any lower. And with respect to the fact that MDR may you can't make money, UPI you can't make money, banks have the power to lobby and get changes made in those policies. Because what is RBI, what is NPCI? I mean, the large majority of the banks have a say in how these decisions get made. So they can definitely lobby and get those core issues sorted, but that doesn't mean that users should suffer.
So then so basically we're saying the banks must upgrade their systems, and now you have the RBI also saying they're going to try and come out with some standardized digital payment controls.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction, and I don't know why it is something that people have been ignoring, but I think it is pretty clear to me as a tech entrepreneur that whether it is payments or whether it is financial services, ultimately, the transformation that is going to happen in India is that financial services and payments are what are the drivers, and they are going to be driven by technology, and it's only going to be digital tools and platforms that will actually enable us to distribute them to the billion plus people that we have in India. So these investments in tech, I think, are long coming. I don't think that they are necessarily only because of COVID driven volumes. I can personally tell you that even prior to COVID, we have seen enough 2 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour outages with all the top private banks of the country.
Let's hope we find a fix to all of this quite soon. Upasana, once again, congratulations on the fundraise, and thank you for being so candid and being so vociferous. But you have skin in the game, and to openly talk about all the problems that are being faced by the ecosystem. I think it's very clear we need quick solutions as well. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Startup Central.
Thank you. Thanks, Nantara.